So all throughout grade school, I'm what most would consider to be a high-achieving student. I've always gotten A's. I've never gotten below a 5 on an AP exam, actually. I've gotten 13 5s, and from that alone, I was able to walk into college with 54 credits under my belt. So people always go, oh my, you're so smart. You're just this super smart guy or whatever. And that feels really weird because I feel like if people just knew how to learn effectively, so many people would be able to achieve at such high levels that it feels wrong for people to think I'm some genius just for having a pretty good method for learning. So I wanted to make this video to teach you all the method that I use to learn. And you read the title of this video. This can be used for anything. Of course, I use it to great effect with my schoolwork, but I also use this if I want to get better at the video games that I'm playing. If I want to practice my instrument and learn how to play my instrument better. If I want to learn new Lego building techniques, literally anything I can apply this method of learning to, and I learn it at a level that is at the very least better than the average of other people that are learning the same thing. So let's just get right into it. So step one to learning most effectively is the one I see people mess up the most, and it's really, really frustrating to me because I know they can achieve so much more. But the first thing you gotta do is understand the theory behind whatever you're trying to learn. So what does that even mean? So what that usually means is you're going to have to do a little bit of research to just be able to understand at the most basic level whatever you're trying to learn. And so for instance, if we're taking a math class and the topic that we're trying to learn is how to optimize a function using derivatives. That's a whole lot of concepts to unpack, and we might not know how to do every single one of those or understand them immediately. So we might have to do some research just to get even like a ballpark of what we're trying to do with this. So in this case, what we would learn is, what we're trying to do is have a graph of a function and find the top point on the function and the lowest point on the function. So that would be us getting our basic understanding of what we're trying to learn in that case. So you might be like, this is obvious, why are you even telling us this right now? Because people won't do it. And it's the reason why people will do badly on tests, like with word problems for instance, is because they'll know how to do something without understanding why they're doing it. And when you don't understand why you're doing something, you can't apply it to different scenarios. This applies for video games too. So a couple weeks back, I uploaded this clip of me playing Marvel Rivals, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. If you've seen the Venom dunk meme, I thought this was the coolest thing ever. And then I open my phone, I'm getting flamed by people in my comments. I'm like, what is wrong with this clip? And I read the comments, and I didn't realize that it's almost impossible to do damage to Luna Snow while she's doing her ultimate ability. So I ended up just looking like an idiot in my clip because I didn't understand what I was doing. I was just doing things without understanding the theory behind it all. So when you don't understand the theory, you can't apply the skills. And you can't apply the skills are useless. There are a couple of good ways to be able to tell if you truly understand whatever you're trying to learn, even at a basic level. And one of these is being able to create an analogy of whatever you're trying to learn. I use this a lot in chemistry. So for instance, there's a property called electronegativity, and it's a measure of how much an atom will attract the electrons around it. And so in this instance, I like to think of the atoms as people all fighting for a bag of chips in a grocery store. In this case, electronegativity is how much the people want the bag of chips. The bag of chips is the electron. So it's how much the atoms want the electron. So if you have a high electronegativity value, that means you really want the bag of chips. You really want that electron. And you're going to fight hard to get that bag of chips, get that electron. Whereas if you have a low electronegativity, you're not going to fight very hard for the bag of chips. You're not going to fight very hard for the electron. So for instance, noble gases, they have almost no electronegativity. They're not going to pull other electrons towards them. But if you have an atom like fluorine, for instance, it has a huge electronegativity value, and it will fight any other atom around it to get that electron. So you see in that case, being able to create an analogy makes a somewhat foreign concept. We can't see electrons and things like that, but we're able to still be able to understand it at a basic level by using that analogy. So with step one out of the way, and if it's not out of the way, go back and do it because it is the most important step. But with that out of the way, what you're going to want to do next is watch others that are doing whatever you're trying to learn. And this could be making playlists, for instance. So if I want to get better at playing my instrument for a certain piece, I'll make a playlist with people that are better than me at the instrument playing that piece. And the important part is they need to be better than you. You need to surround yourself with people that you're watching and emulating that are better than you. You don't want to surround yourself with people that also don't know what they're doing. There's no shame in learning, but you don't want to emulate bad habits. That's what I use YouTube for. I'll watch different streamers, different creators, listen to different artists that play my instrument better than me, and I'll take bits and pieces of whatever they do, and I'll incorporate it into what I do. And by doing that, I get better at such a faster rate than I would without having any other people to watch. So step 3, y'all probably saw this coming, but you gotta practice, because practice makes perfect, right? Well, only if you practice specifically and effectively, and that's what I'm not saying people do. So for instance, if I'm playing my clarinet and I'm trying to practice a piece, what some people will do is, I'm gonna play through the whole piece and it's gonna be great, right? Well, maybe the whole piece doesn't need attention. Maybe it's specific parts in the piece that you need to rep until they're sounding good, and then you can put them into the whole. The reason why people don't want to do that though is it doesn't feel good. When you're practicing the parts that have the most issues, it's not gonna look good, it's not gonna be pretty. A lot of times when I'm practicing, my practice doesn't sound great because I'm practicing the parts that have the most problems. And that might not feel good, but it's necessary for being able to learn most effectively. And there's 2 parts to your practice. There's a part where you figure out how to do whatever you're trying to learn, how you yourself can do it. And then there's the part where you make that easier. I remember the quadratic formula. I remember seeing that for the first time in my Algebra 2 class. And I was like, this is such a massive formula. Now I know that like the back of my hand. Negative b plus or minus the square root of 4ac all over 2a. Like that's not even a thing now. So when you practice, you gotta be able to do it once and then rep it so that it becomes easier. And step 4 is listen to constructive criticism. And I mean constructive criticism. Don't listen to people hating, trying to shame you for learning. There's no shame in not knowing something and trying to learn how to do something. We all have to learn. We don't spawn with just information. We have to all learn in some way. So don't feel shame for being at the start of that learning process. And a lot of times when people are just hating, there's not really useful information that you can use from that to be able to better your learning. So instead, listen to peers that have maybe already been through whatever you're trying to learn and can give you some tips, analyze what you could be doing better, things like that. That'll be constructive and it will allow you to actually reflect on what you're doing and taking that information to do it even better. If this video helped you even at all, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And put down in the comments any way that you've used this sort of process to be able to learn for yourself. I'd love to hear about it. Thank you for watching and have a great time learning.